Well, hello everyone and welcome to Utrecht, where for the very first time today, the European champions of Queen and King of the Court will be crowned. 5 years ago, this amazing concept was born, and then all of a sudden, the growth has been so quick. We've been to Doha, we've been pretty much to Hamburg twice, and Julius Brink, what an exciting day for the sport.
Yeah, you didn't mention Utrecht, which is for me kind of the heart of this product. I mean, Sportworks, the company and the brain behind that concept, is coming from here, and I must say, the audience is also quite good and quite connected to that product, and I'm looking forward to tonight. It's going to be an exciting day.
I mean, it's been a full house for the last 3 nights. The atmosphere has been incredible, and it feels like Utrecht and King of the Court go hand in hand.
Yeah, for me this is a perfect fit. I like that stadium. I like to play night sessions even more than during the day. I mean, we've seen a second court here, but for me, like, having this vibrant atmosphere, like the DJ taking over control, pushing the players, that's what we're gonna expect tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're here to do a very quick preview of the finals. Obviously, it's the final day, but first of all, we're starting with the playoff, where one team will go through to the final and join 4 others. It's going to be one 15-minute round, and then obviously we're back to King of the Court rules, where it's 3 15-minute rounds to see who will be crowned the European champion. Before we do that, Julius, have you got any tips? I mean, I know you're an Olympic gold medalist, you're a European champion, you're a world champion, you've won a lot, but you've never played King of the Court, obviously. But have you got any tips for anybody who's starting to play it and pick it up in their home country?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, go out there and have fun. I mean, if you're a bit bored or you're seeking a new adventure, then King of the Court is the right thing. I mean, it was born probably because of too many players, too many teams on one court. So we play that in before preparation time of a tournament. But now it seems to be a professional journey. And we are in the middle of it, so I can see more and more teams playing it professional, being calmed down, being not to get too much stressed. I mean, the Norwegian team, they have talked pretty much about their strategy here. You can see it, like, sometimes until that 4-minute break, which we have in every 50 minutes, they seem to be on 0, which is like you see Norway, Olympic champion, and they have 0 points, and then it seems like they really don't, they don't give a fuck. Like, they say, just our time will come, and then boom, they are there. So if you have a good side out, like, my biggest tip is, like, stay calm and wait for your time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's so reminiscent of watching the Vikings when they play normal beach volleyball, that it'll be 14-all, and all of a sudden they win 21-16. They'll be 5 down in the 3rd set, and all of a sudden they win 17-15. Hello, mate, just having a casual walk past. Nice to see you,
we're in the city centre of Utrecht. Yeah.
We're in the city centre of Utrecht. Anybody else want to come have a look around? But it is very much a Vikings thing. It's going to be interesting to see how they get on. Before that, we have a women's playoff round. Now, we've had some brilliant performances, and unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to Davidova Bayeva from the Ukraine. They've had to pull out with an injury. So that means that the playoff round will consist of another Ukrainian side in the MAC. Those are already through, but there will only be 3 teams in that first knockout round. We also have Winderlef and Bisgaard from Denmark, and we also have Borger and Labreur from Germany. I mean, that's a pretty tough task for Borger and Labreur, who, if you think about it, would be the favourites on paper. But again, the way that this concept works is surely there is no favourites.
Yeah, I mean, they did good in the first days, and they even don't have a proper blocker, which you need for this format. But, like, that's what beach volleyball is about. Like, every weakness must not mean that you are not able to play the game. And they did quite solid in the first days. Yesterday was not their best day, I would say. That's why they are in the playoffs, but that can easily happen, and I'm expecting them to move forward and make it to the final, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in their way, they have obviously Denmark, Winderlef and Bisgaard, who are 2 very tall, athletic players. Germany are 2 defenders. Do you think there's any sort of pros and cons? 2 defenders against 2 sort of what would be blockers. That's not the way that Denmark play their game, but 1 really physical team. Does that help in this concept, or does it really matter?
The 2 German ladies also have good serving options, which is a big plus here. You can make yourself, like, with not too much of energy invest into the Queen's End or onto the Queen's End. And then it's all about side out. So I would say if you don't have that blocking skill, which they obviously don't have. I mean, they scored a couple of points. They are in the stats.
Made a few.
Yeah, but it's not like a proper blocking and defense system. They can't establish that in a short amount of time. But yeah, it's possible to play here successful beach volleyball without blocking. But then you need to have good serving skills and a proper sider, which they have.
So you heard it. Julius's money is on Germany. As always, I would like to add.
Come on,
he never bets against Germany.
No, to clarify this,
there's no clarification.
I believe the two German ladies will make it out of the playoffs into the final, and then, come on, there is, yeah. Do we need to talk about that?
No.
Switzerland domination here.
Oh, the Swiss domination.
But I have
a
super funny statistic. Or do you want to mention all the teams?
No,
to be fair?
please.
I found out that, like, it's always up to the team choice who's actually serving. In usual beach volleyball, we all know like serving needs to be alternated within your partner or within your team. But Brunner and Hübeli, like Nina Brunner, she did 120 serves for the team, while Tanja Hübeli did 2.
It makes
we have other statistics like 105 to 59, 63 to 77. The other Switzerland team is sharing that quite a bit, but 120 to 2. That's funny.
Nina's like, you go block, Tanya. I will do the serving.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've got the men's playoff round, so it's exactly the same rules. 1 15-minute round, and the winner goes through. I mean, you can't look any further in that playoff round, Julius, than Brouwer Meusen. I mean, they got knocked into the playoff round yesterday, but in their way, you've got the Rat, as Rich Lamborn's calling him, Arnoud Gatiarat, and sorry, it still cracks me up, and Youssef Krug, the king of the knuckle, which is my favourite thing. You also have Mark van Werkhoven, who we call Ryan Reynolds here. Again, another Rich Lamborn phrase. He's not here, but we can talk about him. And he's playing with Matthew Immers. And at the same time, we also have Novak Tizar, from Estonia, who are top 10 team in the world, and Mark Tizar has now taken over the top blocker in this competition, past the Big Rez, as another Rich Lamborn saying, Big Rez, Eduard Reznik, who got knocked out yesterday. So I mean, that's a big playoff round. Novak Tizar, Van Werkhoven, Immers, Gatiarat, and Krug, and then also Brouwer Meusen.
Yeah, it's tough. That could also be a final for tonight, but unfortunately we just have one advancing to the final. Yeah, I give you right with Tizar. It's like watching him for the last 2 days, probably the player with the biggest development. Like I know they are coached by Rivo Vesic, who quit coaching in Russia and then going back to coach his home country team. And it's really, I always like to see players taking up a philosophy and then improving. And I must say that team, I watched them in Munich at the European Championships quite a lot. They're not that spectacular. He's not the biggest blocker on tour, but what he does is so smart, and he's having a very good time here as a blocker, but also as he has his daughter. I think he has a daughter. He became father a short while ago, so he's enjoying Utrecht quite a lot.
Yeah, they are. They're a very lots of variation in the way that they do things, and a lot of crazy decision making. You want to keep an eye on Estonia, but they obviously have a tough task because Brouwer Meusen are gonna want to get through that 15 minutes. They're absolutely loving being here, and I think they would be gutted to leave the competition before playing in the finals. I mean, you have the likes of the Swedes, you have 2 Norwegian teams. They'll want to step into that sort of battle later on, and they'll want to stick it to them.
Yeah, like we have Norway, Molsorum, Amund Helwig, another Norwegian team, Bertsen Mol, and Farnos Penega. So if I could pick one, I would go for a second Dutch team, because we must say, like, when the Dutchies play in that stadium, the atmosphere gets even bigger and better, and it's their home crowd. So I would say I have to stay neutral, but I can't. So I wish them all my luck and hope they're gonna make it.
Yeah, I think it'd be great for the competition, and I mean, as we said, they'd be devastated if they didn't. So there's a lot hanging on it for them. Right, so for the finals, one team goes through from that playoff, and then they join the finals, which 4 teams have already been decided. We have all the stats here, but you can't look past. Julius was talking about the Swiss sort of invasion here in terms of king and queen of the court, because they've been on fire. Anouk Vergier-Dupree, Menia Bentele. Obviously, Menia Bentele is standing in for Joanna Heidrich. They're not playing World Tour together because of the world ranking points. You have the amazing team from Lithuania, Aiva Dombaskaita and Gerda Gludskinkaita as well. They have been very much the dark horses, but they've started out incredibly well. Nina Brunner, Tanja Hubli. Nina Brunner has been everywhere on this court, and Nina Brunner has also been doing a lot of serving, if you're just listening to Julius Brink here. Julius's favourite stat. And we can't go anywhere without mentioning Slovenia either. They're just actually training just down there, warming up into things before the game later on. But Tasha Koknik and Tadja Lovchin have been sensational, and at the moment Koknik has 15 kill blocks in this competition, which makes her the best blocker in the final when it comes to the stats, and that's been a big reason why they're here.
Yeah, and that's kind of a surprise if you have Tanja Hubli in that bracket as well, or compare her to her. Like, she's one of the best blockers.
Hubli has 14, so only the two.
Yeah, but it's a strong number, and for me, Slovenia is kind of the dark horse for that final. I would doubt that they're gonna not make it for medal. So they are a good team. I haven't seen them much here, but what they do is quite smart and good beach volleyball.
Yeah, absolutely. The same for Lithuania. They've had some good results on the Futures Tour. Both of the teams have, Slovenia and Lithuania. Can they transfer that into a Queen of the Court European title? I mean, we're about to find out. Obviously, the favourites tag, as Julius has already mentioned, Anouk Vergier-Dupree. Isn't it great to have her here? She's doing a bit of blocking, she's doing a bit of defending, but obviously with that horrible injury to Joanna Heidrich, I think it's still 3 to 5 months away for Heidrich to come back to professional beach volleyball. It's great that Anouk can be here competing so well with Menia Bentele and giving her experience.
Yeah, it's hard to say that it's a win-win situation, because Joanna Heidrich is probably losing or suffering from that situation, but as brutal as professional sport is about, like, there's every team needs to be like going their way, or a player need to be replaced. So I was kind of surprised, because Menia Bentele, I never heard about her and haven't seen her much, but what she does here, how she played in Munich at the European Championships was quite good. So it's surprisingly that a system or a country like Switzerland, with so less people, like probably a big winter sport nation, is always bringing up young talented athletes, probably the best blockers in the world. Joanna and Tanja, like, they are dominating the tour. Tall girls playing good volleyball. It's a good system, and I would say she has a bright future. Maybe not in the next season with Anouk, but it's great that Anouk also could give over some experience skills to her, and it seems like they have a good chemistry. But it's always nice to play with Anouk on court.
Yeah, of course, she's been incredible, and watch out for Menia Bentele, as Julius was saying, brilliant in the European Championships. I also saw her in Vienna at the Nations Cup, and she was like superb with Anouk Vergier-Dupree. So the women's final, you can't take your eyes off it. It's going to be entertaining. Is it going to be one of the favourites from Switzerland? Is it going to be one of the dark horses, Lithuania, Slovenia? Could it be someone from the playoff? It completely could be somebody from the playoff that comes through the 15 minutes today, like a Borgo Labora, who's in her last season, by the way, because she's announced her retirement, so we wish her all the best. Could they sneak it through the playoff and win the whole thing? Who knows? Last, but obviously not least, Julius, the men's final. I mean, it's pretty mouth-watering when you look at the top of the list and you see Mol Sorum. As you just said, they've been doing their work really late, as we've seen for the last years in traditional beach volleyball. We also have the jump-setting Swedes. Now, in Munich, they had an unbelievable battle where the Vikings were looking for their 5th straight European Championships, and the semi-final, the jump-setting Swedes said, no, we'll take this one, and they did. And then you look at the depth. You also have Bernstein and Mol. What they were saying yesterday is the Norwegians want to make this the Vikings of the court, as opposed to King of the Court, which is very nice from Henrik Mol. And you also have Christian Varenhorst, who we know so well. I mean, silver medal in the World Championships in 2015. He's just become a father. He's playing with Ruben Penninger, TP. And today, funny enough, it's TP's birthday. Hello, sir. Thank you for coming past. It's TP's birthday, and he's just here to celebrate Ruben Penninger, as we all are. So it could be a special day for Ruben on his birthday. playing on the show court.
Yeah, and it's well deserved. I mean, Christian is also suffering. It's probably an emotional time in his career, becoming a father. His partner in crime, Steven van der Velde, he got injured. He's probably having a surgery, so he's out for the next weeks, month. So it's not really, a good perspective for him right now as a team. So everything is a bit unsecure. And just going out here, playing in front of your home crowd with a good mate on your side. I must say, Ruben Penninger is also one of the most improved players. I remember him playing at the it was the Continental Cup final in Scheveningen, probably 100 kilometers the other direction. And that time he was the limited factor in that team, as Steven van der Velde was injured as well. But now, like, he proves he can play Final Fours on the world circuit. So he could also, I'm not sure about it, and I don't want to bring up rumors, but he could also be a good partner if Steven can't make it back with his shoulder, whatever happened. Maybe that surgery takes a longer time. So I don't know, but what we know for sure is that this is a good team. And as I mentioned, I hope that the other Alex and Robert are making it through the playoffs, so we have 2 Dutchies in the final. I would say that's well deserved. And then, it's nice to have 2 Norwegian teams. We must make very sure how they are connected, because if you have 2 nations competing in here, like you really make
Julius, putting a spanner in the works.
But it's, I mean, if you have your brother, just imagine it comes to a crucial situation. You have your brother. How much would you hope that he might serve a ball out in that moment?
Yeah,
or
correct.
If you see it in a positive way, how much would you please him to serve an ace to get your opponents out of the court? It's just this extra flavor. I don't want to talk too much about manipulation. We haven't seen it here, but it's always nice to have that extra flavor. So 2 from my side could be good, 2 Dutchies and 2 Norwegians, and then I mean, Amon and Helvik, we all say their way of playing is born for this format. I think it's also born for big Olympic dreams, but I love to see them here performing, and they are so super straight in their way. You never see that it's quite the end of the season or they are not going for ball in defense. It's really, really nice to see them playing, their professionalism. It's also worth, whenever you're around, to see them actually doing their warm-up. It's so 100% willing to go for it. I really like their attitude. So they well deserve to be in the final.
Well, I completely agree, and I can't wait. It's going to be a mouth-watering men's final. We still don't know who's going to join them. I mean, if you look at the stats, Markt is our top blocker with 17 blocks, Henrik Mol 15 blocks, Anders Mol at 12 blocks. You never see Anders Mol as a 4th or 5th best blocker on the charts. Is that something to do with the concept or the format that we're playing, or is that just we're paying too much attention to something that we don't need to worry about?
I mean, 12 blocks is not a bad number. As we all know,
more than we ever got, right?
I would doubt that he's not one of the let's say 3 best blockers when we talk about to close the whole shop tonight. So it always depends on how they have planned their tactics. You know, if he's serving and then going to block, he's a bit more limited, because then he could go for more of that serving skill and scoring aces. It goes pretty much deep into that topic, but 12 blocks is quite a big number.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Anders Mol and Christian Sorum have shared the serving. Anders Mol 66 serves and Christian Sorum 57. But then there's some great Julius Brink loving stats here, because Jonathan Helvik's only served 2 balls the whole competition. David Arman has served 127.
It's the same thing.
See, I know how to get a laugh out of him now. Go with the statistical humour is going to be a good move. And then also Christian Varenhorst has only served 4 balls. Ruby's only served 134. So there's a bit of a difference. Right, there you have it, guys. Previews have been done. You don't want to be anywhere else. You can watch it on Eurovolley TV. Okay, all of the action from the final day. We have the playoffs, then we have the women's final, then we have the men's final. Julius, I can't wait. Thank you so much for obviously being up here with me. talking through the finals and giving us the preview. And we hope that the beach volleyball community and everyone else watching is having as good a time as we are.